most people have a straightforward and logical view on life. This is because we are ruled by science, facts, and figures, and by what is visible. Mark Twain once defined faith as believing what you know ain't so. This attitude is what many people have in mind when they think of the word faith, as faith is known through trust, whereas reason is knowledge through observation. However, what about having faith in what we cannot control? What about having faith in the future or ourselves? Faith and reason are two principles by which everyone can live their lives. Although, having faith can be difficult for people who don't trust easily. Nonetheless, we do need to have faith in people who have skills and trust in their abilities, such as doctors, teachers, and co-workers. Without faith, we would not be able to form relationships, as trust is an important element. However, most importantly, we need to have faith in ourselves. After all, the road of success is full of criticism and rejections, that if you don't have enough faith in yourself, you might not be able to continue the journey. As Martin Luther King phrased, faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's Finding Answers. So, you saw the video there, that's tonight's topic, reason and faith. We live in a society today where technology and the advancement in science has, developed so much. We've got men who are living right now, on the International Space Station. They've discovered recently a ninth planet they've called it Planet 9. With the technology that we have out there, searching the galaxy, searching the universe for new galaxies and stars, etc. And even today, if you're following the news, they are now making advancements in embryos, right? Genetically modifying embryos. In other words, having designer babies. You see, technology is advancing and everyone is believing in this technology. And of course, technology has its good points. It's good, it can treat diseases. It can help with, mankind's future in saving the planet. But what about faith? What about spirituality? A lot of people, they kind of think that faith and, believing in something, call it God or whatever you want to call it, it's old-fashioned now, right? And we have the facts, we have the figures, we have things written down and noted about what's going on. It's there, the technology is there. But what about, the advancement in faith? Faith in God. And, on Finding Answers, our guests are proof that God exists, because when you hear them talking about depression, when you hear them talk and see them talk about being abused, but the way they tell their story, many have a smile on their face, they're happy. It can even seem as though they're putting it on, but genuinely, their life has changed through faith. So how important is faith in today's terms, in today's age, the age that we are living in, right? We want to try to address this issue, and especially with the guest tonight who has her story to tell on, things that she went through. Maybe it's things that you are going through now and you don't know, you don't have a solution to it. And maybe, all the advice, all the help, all the advancements in knowledge can't help you. They can't help you, and you're still searching for that answer. On tonight's program, we want to help you tap in to the power called faith. With me tonight, it's Lisa. How are you doing, Lisa?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So I'm normally here on a Thursday,
Yes.
right? Now I'm joining you here. I'll be here also tomorrow to talk about tomorrow's topic with you. But let's talk about tonight. Reason and faith. Tell us about that.
Indeed, I mean, I think faith is very important today. However, it doesn't just have to relate to religion. I mean, our lives involve constant change. And to keep up with this change, we need to understand that life goes in cycles. So we may be winning one moment or losing the next. And as logical human beings, we know this. But many of us get upset when we fail to understand why things change. And this can end up as us having a lack of faith in life. But what happens if we live in a world of reason but have a lack of faith and have one without the other? Anything can shatter our faith in life, and this may be a loss of a loved one, a job, a friendship, or our purpose in life. However, if we lose faith in life, we no longer trust it. And it doesn't make a difference whether it is faith in God or a person. Essentially, we need reasoning to progress and to make wise decisions. But we need faith to give us hope. And it is about achieving a balance between the two. So essentially, we do need the two in life to a certain extent.
Yes.
Don't we? We need to have faith in ourselves. I think that is quite important. Having a faith in oneself.
That's where it all starts. If you don't have faith in yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe in your abilities, then how can you believe in something that you can't even see? And that's our argument. You know, we don't see God. We don't see this energy. We don't see this power, right? But what holds the stars? What holds the sun up, the galaxies, the planets? You know, you wake up, don't you look and see the beauty and the wonders in this world, right? You think of America, you think of the landscapes of the Grand Canyon. You go to the best place on this earth, a beach, and you see how beautiful, how wonderful it is. You go up to, Norway, Sweden, and you see the beautiful mountains, the snow-capped mountains. You go to the plains of Africa, and you see the wildlife there. Could all of this have started from a bang? Like that? And now we have evolved like this from a bang? I don't think so. I think there is something that controls everything here. We are designed, right? It kind of started just from an explosion. And many people would disagree with that. So to believe in that, what I'm saying now requires faith, right? There's no explanation. And this higher power, let's just say God, this higher power has designed everything for a reason. But if you start thinking, well, we started off as an amoeba, and from there, millions of years, it grew legs, and then we started walking or in the sea, and then we started coming on land, and then we grew a vertebrae, and we ended up being a monkey, Neanderthal man, ape, and now we've evolved as humans. Okay, does it stop there? Where do we go from here? Are we going to develop now wings and we're going to take off into the air, right? If this idea of evolution exists, why are there still monkeys? There shouldn't be any monkeys or apes anymore, right? We should all be humans and we should all be evolving. That requires faith to believe in it and not reasoning. Anyway, enough of that. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to get off the subject. But our topic tonight is using faith to overcome the problems that we all face in life. And if you want to find an answer, a solution to your problems, then stay tuned, okay? Let's get down to you. Let's not talk about the religious stuff. Let's talk about everyday life's problems that my guest tonight has found helpful. And today she'll be sharing her story with you. If you would like to give us a call at any time during this program, You can. The number's on your screen now. It's 0207 686 6300. You can call in at any time if you want to speak to someone related to any issue highlighted here, or even if it's something else and you would like to speak to someone, then they are on hand to listen to you, advise you, and if you want a prayer at any time during this program, then they are there for you. All right? Lisa, if this person would like to give us a call or contact us in any way, what are those details?
Yes, indeed. If you are 18 years or over, please do not hesitate and contact us. You can also contact us through our email at help@findinganswers.tv. That's help@findinganswers.tv. We're also available on social media. That's Facebook, Twitter and Instagram if you search for Finding Answers. And also daily episodes are uploaded to YouTube. So please subscribe.
All right. Now, before we go for a break, let's just take a look at this short story of someone whose life was changed through faith.
My difficulties did begin as a child, caused anger that was uncontrollable. When I used to get into fights, get into arguments, when people used to disrespect me, my anger would be so uncontrollable that even my parents or teachers at school couldn't calm me down. And because I had a mouth, I messed with the wrong person. After that wrong person who I messed with backfired on me, this is when the bullying started happening. I felt like I couldn't do nothing. My parents, we always called up to the school, and because of this, it would cause my parents to argue. It would make my family very, very divided, very affected because what I was doing. Inside, I had no peace. I had a low self-esteem. That everything that I wanted to achieve, everything I was going for, that I thought that it would never happen. God would be something that I heard about, but I didn't know where the place to find this God. So this God that I heard about, I started to invest in how he could help me to change my life. But there's one Bible verse that stood up for me that said, through Christ all things is possible. So I thought, if all things are possible through him, then my life can change. The situation of my life can be different because I didn't want the life that I was living no more. So I started invested, I started reading his words. I started seeing my life change. The relationship that I never had with my mom, I finally had. The years that I wasted because of my anger, that I despised her. I started to treat my mom in a way that I should have. I started to see my mom as someone that can be used by God to teach me, to guide me. And this is the way that God wants me to be like, because I know God is merciful, but the way I spoke, I had no mercy for people. I had no thought of the person. And God cares for everyone. So I started talking with more care, with more positive, with more politeness to people, and making the people understand that I care for them. Also, the goals that I had, I'm also achieving them, living them. Because I never thought that I could achieve my goals. But through this Bible verse as well, through Christ all things is possible, I believe that I could achieve my goals. And I am being my goal right now. I am living my goal, which is truly amazing what God can do when you put into practice, and he can really help you.
So that was Aaron Howe and his story of how God changed his life through faith. If you want to know more on how you can get help with your everyday problems, or maybe it's something that's been there for a long time in your life, then stay tuned, because after the break, you're going to hear my guest story. All right? We'll see you right after this.
Virtual expanses, The Internet. More and more possibilities and technological innovations.
Saturday Shift.
The behaviour that I had, it led me to being imprisoned on 2 occasions. When I first went to prison, I didn't think it was anything. It was like, okay, everyone goes to prison. But, you know, I still had an attitude in there. I was fighting people because I just didn't want to be told what to do. I was really getting into trouble all of the time. I was selling drugs inside. I just didn't care. But, you know, after a while, I was starting to get tired. I didn't want to be that person. So I knew that I had to change. So after I went through the course and started to look inside of myself and I started to see the changes, I carried on going. It was hard at first, but I continued going more and more, and seeing the changes in myself made me to see that I could be a better person. So I just continued, and today I'm not depressed, I'm not angry, I don't have a bad attitude, I don't want to fight people all the time, and I just love being me.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Now, tonight's program is called Reason and Faith. Now, let's meet my guest for tonight, who's going to talk about the importance of faith and how it changed her life.
It's pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
My guest for tonight is Mimi Mukendi. How are you, Mimi?
I'm fine, thanks.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Now, I would like to start off by asking you, how was your life? How were the problems, or what were the problems that you were facing in your life?
From a young age of 10, as I came in this country when I was, to live with my brother and his girlfriend, she did not really like the fact that I was there in their home. So she would, any little thing she would find to pick on me. She would say, "You're useless, so you can't do this, you can't do that," and that really affected me because I started to then really lose faith in myself. I started to see myself as a nobody. I can't do anything, and so that led to me. I then started to. I didn't have no other family here in the UK, just my brother and his girlfriend, and so I didn't know what else to do.
How old were you at the time when you came over?
So I was 10.
10 years old.
Yes.
Okay.
So I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know who else to turn to. So your brother was your family? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So were you close to him?
I was, but then through this, when this started to happen, I felt alone. I felt like he let me down, even though he didn't know what was happening. But I still felt like he let me down. I felt like he had to know. He should have known, but he didn't. So that led me to start then having suicidal thoughts.
At 10 years old?
Yes. I started to, because I didn't want to leave anymore. I didn't know what else to do. Was it that bad that you started having thoughts? What was the type of things that she would do or say to you? I remember, waking up to go to school. I had to wake up early in the morning, to clean the house and do this and do that. And if I would just miss like a little spot, it was like I smashed a plate or, you know, broke a really expensive plate, she would really like speak and go, oh, like you're useless, you can't do anything, this and this. So she wanted me and then to be like this perfect, you know, person to do everything that she, you know, she wanted, and she wanted to have nothing else to do basically in the house, for me to do everything in the house.
So 10 years old, expected to do a mother's job, say,
yeah,
right? And it was those words that she would always, you know, throw at you.
Yeah.
That really affected you.
Yeah. So for me, that was, you know, it really led me to start having suicidal thoughts because I didn't know what else to do. So I didn't have no family, so I didn't want to leave anymore. I didn't want to be.
Did you speak to your brother about, you know, the way you were treated?
The thoughts came, okay, maybe I should, but then I said to myself, if I did, then, you know, I would split them up, you know, and then the blame would be put on me that I was the one who split the couple up, because they also had a child. So, you know, it would then, everything would be put on me.
That's quite heavy for, you know, a young girl at 10 years old to be thinking about, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything. Let me keep quiet in case I'm the reason why they break up.
Yes.
Tell me, or tell us, what suicidal thoughts comes to a 10-year-old's mind? What were you thinking of doing to yourself?
I had tried to many times just get a knife and just kill myself, but many times I had stopped myself because I thought to myself, imagine if I did, but then before I could, let's say, die, you know, somebody comes home, my brother comes home and sees me there, takes me to hospital, then everybody would know, oh, she had a problem, this and so on and so forth. I didn't know anybody to know. I wanted to just, you know, die. I tried, you know, to many times just, I would cross the road without looking. Many times even
hoping a car would just, or something would hit you.
Many times I had even in front of an ambulance, you know how ambulance, they really come fast. So, but somehow the ambulance just managed to stop right.
So
you know,
you actually went out in front of an ambulance? I literally
just walked across. I heard it coming and I saw it coming, and I just literally just walked, and it just stopped, like, you know.
And what did they do?
You know, it was, you know, everybody's but yeah, nothing happened. So it was just incidents like that. But I didn't want my family to know. I didn't want, you know, my brother to know that, you know, I wanted to kill myself. No, I just wanted to die.
When did you try actually? When did that happen, that incident with the ambulance?
So
how old were you at the time?
So this was, let's say, 2 years after. 2 years after.
So still young, 12 years old?
Yeah, I was 12 now. So I started then, you know, to try, you know, to try and do more things, like look at what I can do. But yeah, but for me, there seemed to be no way out, because everything that I was trying, everything that I would think to do, it was just not working.
So were you this happy-go-lucky, were you this fun kid at school, or did you kind of was sad and a loner?
At school,
with your friends?
I had friends, but at school I had this like pretense. I pretended that everything was fine. Everything was fine, but it wasn't. It wasn't. At a young age, you know, like I started to copy my friends.
So what did you start doing?
I left, before when let's say when I first came to the UK, I had the good friends, the friends who were good. Then I changed to bad friends. I had really bad anger. Like when somebody would do something, I would really get angry at that person. Even just something small, I would really get angry. And so that was how my life was at that young age. And it came up at a certain point where I was 13, and then I just thought, okay, I can't take this anymore. I can't live here anymore. I've tried, many times to take my life. It wasn't working. So I then ran away from home.
And where did you go?
I had nowhere else to go. The friends that I had, I couldn't really, they were not friends that I could say that, oh, I can go to them and their parents would let me stay over. So I went to the park, and the area that I lived in, where we lived in, it was quite a dangerous area. I went to that park with the thought that, hopefully somebody will see me here and, they'll come rape me or something and just kill me afterwards, because I didn't want to leave anymore. So I had nowhere to go. I was in the park. I stayed there, I don't know for how many hours. It was after a school trip. So I stayed there in the park. Obviously, my brother then, was looking for me. He was the one who found me in that park, as he was looking for me, and he came, he found me. I said, I don't want to go home. Obviously, he didn't understand why, because he didn't know what was happening. I was like, I don't want to go home. I don't want to be there anymore.
Didn't he find it strange? That
yeah,
you didn't say anything?
Yeah, he was finding it really strange. Like because for him, he was like, it was almost like random. So I was like, no, I don't want to go home. We started arguing there with him, then he started, like, why don't you want to go home? I didn't want to tell him. And then as we were arguing, somebody then, saw, and the police were called. And when the police came and they took me, they said, why don't you want to go home? I'm like, I don't want to go home. But
you still didn't disclose anything?
I didn't want to, but then they said to me, if I don't, then they'll have no choice to bring me back there. And I was like, I don't want to go back there. And then I told them a bit. I said, the girlfriend doesn't like me, and she doesn't treat me well. But that's all I said. So, and then from that, they were like, okay. And so they took me away. And so from that day, I was 13, and I went into care.
Really?
Yeah.
From that day, you went into...
I went into care.
Foster care?
Yeah, foster care. And I did not want to go back there.
How was it like in foster care, with staying with a family?
At first, it was not easy going from different places to different places, trying to find me at home. It made me then, I really went down. My self-esteem really went down, because I would look at see my friends at school. They had their family, they had their mom, they had their dads, and I didn't have that. So I felt really even more alone.
Tell me about your behaviour. You're in foster care now.
Yeah.
You don't have your family around. I mean, your only family is your brother. I'm sure you must have felt he didn't care for you.
No, yes.
How did you act from then? Did your behaviour get worse? Were you wild? Were you more closed up? How were you?
I became more closed up. Yeah, obviously my anger.
Got worse.
It got worse. So even I would look for things even, and then I would, just lash out. And even if the teacher was there, I literally didn't care. And at school, I would, my friends, I changed friends. The friends then led me to, I would go out with guys who was 10 years older than me, and in doing drugs.
You took drugs?
I never took drugs myself, but guys that I was around with, they were involved in drugs, they were involved in gangs. So this is the life that I got myself into.
Now, going out with guys 10 years older than you, how old were you at that time?
This was like, it started when I was so when I got into care, I was then, you know, in a secondary school. So
how old are you?
I was, let's say, so 14, 15.
So there you're going out with like 25-year-olds.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
so doing that, unhappy, now you're dating these guys. Was it for attention? Was it to get back at your brother? You just didn't care anymore? Why did you start dating these older men?
Really, I wanted the attention. I was seeking attention. I wanted to feel loved, because I felt like my family didn't care. I felt like my family didn't love me, because I blamed them for everything that had happened to me. I said, how can they have let this happen? You know, if they had loved me, then they would have known, they should have known what was happening. So I blamed them for it. And so I wanted those guys, even though I knew that they did not really care, they didn't care about me at all. But I wanted that attention.
Yes.
I wanted to have somebody there. I wanted to just somebody to say that, okay, I have someone who would give me that attention. So yeah, and then when I got into college, then I really changed from, you know, things or the friends, then it started to influence me more. My dress sense changed, the way I would dress. It was really, really
provocative.
Yeah. So my because at college, my social worker kind of started to persuade me to visit my brother, and I would visit him, but I still had that hate inside of me. I still like hated him, like he should have known, and so I still didn't want to go back home at 16, or even though they wanted me to go back home, I said I don't want to go back home. Even though he finished with the girlfriend, I still didn't want to go home.
That anger was still there.
Yeah, the anger was still there.
I'm going to cut you there, all right? We're going to go for a break now. You're going to find out not only how Mimi's life changed, but you're going to find out what she thought about her life. And that's the crunch point. This is probably the most important part of the program, because maybe you're going to think the same thing about your life. Actually, you think the same thing about your life, right? The reason why you're going through this is because. But we're going to find out as well from Mimi how her life turned around, okay? Join us after this break.
Forgiving the person who betrayed you can be tough, and it can almost always leave a scar. The scar that remains from an abusive past can affect your future in so many ways. There are various forms of abuse, the seen and the unseen. We understand your pain because we have been through it ourselves. If you or someone you know is a victim of any form of abuse, help is available. Rahab. Removing all hurt and abuse. We won't pretend it never happened, but our aim is to help you heal the wounds of the past so that you can build a happy future. We'll listen, we'll advise, we'll be your shoulder to cry on. It's free, confidential, and we're just a phone call away. For more information, call 0207 686 6000 or visit our website uckg.org/Rahab.
Do the maths. Changing your life is not as simple as changing your hairstyle, your shirt, or rearranging the furniture in your living room. You're talking about years of deep-rooted habits, behaviours and problems that are not going to change overnight. Many may say, think positively, but the trouble with that is that you can't do or change anything with just thoughts. But add action into the equation and the outcome can be different. Let's do the maths. Positive thinking plus action equals a change. Whatever it is, if the change is significant, if it's worthwhile, then it will have to take time, effort and homework from you.
Follow My Channel's updates on Facebook. Like your favourite videos and see pictures of your favourite artists. Access our Twitter @MyChannelUK and get to know what's on with My Channel. Visit tvmychannel.com and be connected to our world. My Channel, a whole new world of entertainment.
Hello and welcome back to Finding Answers, where tonight we're talking about faith versus reason and whether or not we need one or both in life. Well, what do you think of the subject? We've sent Christy out to the streets of London to find out.
Definitely depression is probably number one.
They're arguing and they're talking negatively about each other.
What is more valuable than another? And so
you can have as many friends and family as you want. It just depends.
Is a common regret, like, oh, like I should have like asked that person out, or like.
Hi everyone, it's Krista here on Finding Answers, and tonight's topic is reason and faith. Many people would say that reason and faith are quite opposite from one another, and in a way I would agree. However, what if we were to combine both together? How can we incorporate reason and still have a sense of faith? Let's see what the public have to say. Do you live your life by reason or faith?
Reason.
Reason.
And why is that?
I think we're both from quite sciencey backgrounds.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're used to thinking things through logically.
And I'm not religious.
That
so,
too.
Yeah.
A little bit of both, I think, because you can't really rely on just one of them. You have to combine them in order to be happy.
And why do you say that?
Well, because I'm not like a person that always relies on faith. So I think some things you should think over really well and, you know, be reasonable about them. So that's why.
It's more by faith.
And why do you say that?
Well, I just take every day as it comes. I don't think too much or overthink a particular issue. I just take every day as it comes. So it's more, for me, it's more by faith than reason. You know, because I'm not, I don't plan. I just take every day as it comes. Yeah, yeah, live for faith. Yeah.
I live my life by reason because I like to be able to justify my actions by some kind of plausible thought.
Yeah, I take faith in that, but I live by reason. So, same reason as him.
I would say kind of both. I mean, it depends on the situations because sometimes you just have to go for things and try to make the best out of things, and sometimes things just happen, and yeah.
So there you have it, some people who have shared their experience on faith and reason, and it seems as though most people would say, from those interviews, reason. What do you have to say about this? Especially related to your problems, all right? Let's go now to Mimi. Before Mimi, we talk about how your life changed. Mm-hmm. You know, from everything that you said before the break, what were you thinking about your life? Did you think that things could change? Did you think that, you know, there was an answer? Or did you kind of accept this is the way my life will be?
I had now reached, by this point, I had reached now that a conclusion that this is how my life is.
But why did you think that way? What made you think that way? That there's no way out. There's no way that my life could change. What made you think that?
So now, because this, it started, from when I was 10, and now when I reached uni, obviously because I did not, I didn't know what to do. So it got worse. I was drinking, clubbing, even more guys, and I was trying to find a way out, something that I can do, to help me. And
what did you try? What things did you try to do in order to end your kind of pain and hurt?
I had tried, because by the time when I reached uni, I started to have more contact, a bit more, contact with my family by myself. So it wasn't just my social workers telling me or getting in contact with your family. But for some reason, I still had that hate inside of me.
Right. So you're looking for an answer, right?
Yeah.
So take away that hurt and pain.
Yeah. And
getting closer to family.
Yeah, with my family, but it still was not working. With my friends, with the guys, that somehow they would be able to help me, to feel more that...
Probably even to forget about your problems.
Yeah.
But did it work?
No, the drinking, the clubbing, but everything was just temporary.
Yeah.
And I would wake up in the next morning after the alcohol is gone. I'll be thinking, okay, this is my life now.
Yeah.
So this is it was I had accepted it by this point, and I had said, this is my life. This is how my life is. That some people are born to be happy, and I wasn't.
Yeah. So tell us then, how did your life change?
I was invited by another girl at uni, so into the youth group. Into a youth group, and so I decided. After a while, I decided, okay, I'm gonna go, just try and see. And in that youth group, I was hearing testimonies from other young people, and I saw that something about them was different. They were, yes, they had their problems, but they did not accept, to just to allow their problems, to put them down.
Right.
There were young people who were trying to build themselves up. They were happy and smiling, and they were really, inviting. They were really welcoming.
And these people believed. These young people, they believed in God. They used faith, or learned how to use their faith.
Yes. In that youth group, I found they were teaching about faith, teaching about God, and so through hearing their stories and hearing that I needed to use my faith in God, then it got me thinking that, okay, maybe my life can change. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe my life can change. Maybe, I need to try this. Because if they can try and their life changed, so maybe my life can change.
So what did you start doing then? What was different? What did you have to do in order to start seeing a change in your life?
What I started to do before, it was that, when I would try with my family and, I still had the anger problem, I would then give up easily. And in that youth group, I learned that not to give up. But it's a decision that I had to make. That, do you know what? I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna persevere. I'm gonna keep on. I'm gonna keep trying with my family. I'm gonna forgive them. Even though it's hard. Even though because of that abuse, this is how my life became. But I had to make that decision, to forgive them. I had to keep on speaking to them, make that effort, to call them, that random phone call sometime I wouldn't have done. And cut, you know, the things that I used to rely on, you know, that temporary happiness.
How important was prayer and faith in this?
Really important, because it drew me closer to God in a way that had, you know, in a way that, you know, before I couldn't find a way out. But through the prayers, through, you know, talking, you know, to God, I gained strength. I gained the strength to do many things.
So through your faith and praying, your mentality also changed? It wasn't, I assume it just wasn't just a click of the fingers and everything changed.
No.
But you started to look at your life and the way things were in a different way.
Yes.
And you started believing that things can change, of course, with the help of, you know, other young people, you know, people who are talking to you and sharing their experiences with God.
Yeah.
Right? That helped you to start think differently.
Yes, that really contributed. You know, with my with the prayers, with the environment, the different environment, changing that, and the young people that was there, speaking to them, you know, about how my life was.
Yeah.
And they started to really help me, and they started to share their experiences as well. So I looked at their lives and I was like, this is their life before is how my life is now.
Tell me, or tell us, how are you today?
Today, I'm completely changed. Me and my family, we are close. I can speak to them, you know, call them. I don't have that thing anymore in me where I would say, oh, I don't like them, that anger in me anymore. You know, I don't have that anger that, you know, if something's small, you know, if anything, I get angry and, you know, lash out. No.
You have this peace today.
Yes.
Right?
I'm very...
And the relationship with your brother, how is it?
It's really changed. It's really, you know, before advice, it was something that I couldn't get advice from him. That if anything, you know, I'll be like, no, I don't want to speak to him. But now when it's something, I'll even call him to ask him for an advice, and, you know, he would share and we will be there, we'll be speaking.
Good.
So things has really changed in my life and in my family.
Mimi, thank you for coming, sharing your story with us, all right? Now, if you would like to learn how you can use faith, your faith now, to change your situation, instead of comparing your life to others, using reasoning, logic, and you want help, why don't you try the faith part? Why don't you try this thing? After the break, I'll be speaking with Lisa about this topic, and also we'll be praying at the end of the program. We'll see you after this.
The international talk show. Opinions, arguments, analysis. Four journalists discuss the topic of the week.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Now, joining me is Lisa, back again.
Hello again.
Now, the faith and the reasoning part. You know, when we use faith, I mean, street interviews, many people said, I use one and not the other. Some people say we need to use both. I agree that we do need to use both. I agree that there are times when we need to use logic, we need to use reasoning, we need to use this muscle here. But there are times when you have no answers for certain issues or problems in life, experts can't help you. You know, the doctor has said, I can't help you. We can't do anything more. We've tried. Go home and die. Then what do? Do you just accept that my life's going to end? That's when the person has a choice of using faith. And it's the faith element that brings about the healing.
You know, it was interesting in the street interviews, the first lady and man said that they only go by reasoning. And they said they were scientific people and they only go by facts. Yeah. And you know, that's something that many humans live their life today. They go solely on facts. However, rationality is something that a lot of us go by today, and we do seem to have, you know, pushed faith to the side a bit. And it doesn't have to be religious faith, it could just be having faith and letting things go with the flow and things go as they are. However, we are not born rational. We learn to reason. I mean, how many years do we spend in the educational system? We spend, you know, up to 18 years of our life in play school, in primary school and in secondary school learning. We learn to reason, we learn facts, and we're only taught a certain way. Yeah. We're only taught, you know, to regurgitate facts and to put that onto paper. And you know, that will make you successful in life. But however, what about thinking about yourself? What about having another perspective on life? What about having a sense of belief? And that belief, again, doesn't have to be religious. It could be just belief as letting things are. And especially when we rationalize, we try to find meaning in life. But sometimes there's just no meaning. Sometimes we just have to accept the meaninglessness of life.
Sometimes people say that we came from monkeys, right? You know, the picture of the monkey to us today, it can seem, yes, it took millions of years, but hold on. If you think about it, where do we evolve from? I explained that before. You know, when you're going through a problem in life, it's good to reason, it's good to think why, but when you don't have the answers, when all the stats, right, and you kind of agree with your doctor, you agree with what everyone says, the opinions of others, but it doesn't mean that that's right. If they say that 70% of people, an example, 70% chance that you will die of cancer, what makes you, you know, accept that? Because the statistics say so? Because the doctor says so? Are you just going to live or accept that and die? Or are you going to do something about it? It's your choice. You decide if you want to fight for your life, or you decide to accept what these people say to you, what the statistics say, and stop fighting and end up being one of those statistics. If you want help, if you want this change, you've got to use not faith, because there are people that have a crazy faith. You need to use what is called an intelligent faith. You have to reason, you have to think, you have to ask. You have to ask God why these things are like this, and then use faith. Your faith will bring about the result. I want to pray now, a very short prayer. Get your glass of water ready. Close your eyes, because I'm going to pray for you now. You that want to step out of your comfort zone and give God a chance. Close your eyes now. My Lord and my God, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, I pray now for this person who deep down, they want an answer to that problem. But they don't know how now, because the GPs and doctors have given up on them. Solicitors and lawyers and judges, the education system, the advisors, the counselors can't help this person. But Lord, by faith, and not just faith, an intelligent faith in you, in questioning what the Bible says, looking at the examples in the Bible and saying to themselves or saying to you, well, if it happened there, why can't it happen to me? I'm no worse off. I'm no better than this person. So I can have a happy life. I can be healed. I can receive this same miracle as I read here in the Bible. My God, help this person to tap into this energy called faith. Faith in achieving what seems impossible, my God. My Father, I ask you, help this person who has tried all avenues but has failed. This person is willing to try you, so touch them where they are now. As they are at home agreeing with this prayer, touch them now, my God. And may this faith start working in their lives. I give this listener, this viewer's life into your hands. Do something now tonight in their lives and change them, my God, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. All right. Very simple, very short prayer, but I believe that if you even use 1% of faith, your belief in this prayer, God has seen that. All right? He can't do anything for the atheist. He can't do anything for that person who totally rejects him. But if you would like or have believed in this prayer, something is already happening tonight. Okay? Until the next time, have a wonderful night. We'll see you. God bless you. Bye-bye.